Are you guys ready to break down the rest of the matchups for week number 5?
Yeah.
Yes.
Fantasy Forecast.
The proper response was yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am ready.
Never.
Yes, sir.
Never.
I have to say this because I think at every single time we do this fantasy forecast, that drop, the second half of that, when it goes, doo, 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 I love it. I mean, I get jazzercised up.
Jazz?
Well, I get jazzed up, but it wasn't enough. I get.
I have an idea for a new goal on jointhefoot.com.
Ooh, Jason jazzercise exercise.
A 5-minute exercise video led by Jason Moore.
Oh man, I might die.
with moves from the show. You've got the Macklin cake going on.
All right.
By the way, Julius Thomas, we don't think he's going to play.
No, that is true. All right, let's talk about the Saints going to Philadelphia to face the Eagles. The over-under in this game is a whopping 49 points. That's got to be up near the top.
At least opened that. I don't know if it's sitting there still.
I believe that is the top.
So, Brees
No,
and
I
Bradford. What do we think about Brees? Because I read a report this morning. It said it'll be a while until he's 100%.
It makes sense. I mean, he's got a shoulder that doesn't just immediately get better. You saw, I think, like 90% of his throws were short throws last week. Little dump offs, little short, 10 and under routes. And you're going to see a lot more of that, which I think bodes well for the running back situation here. CJ Spiller hopefully can get used a little bit more. Mark Ingram. Did you know Mark Ingram is averaging over 5 receptions a game?
It's ridiculous.
And he's doing it every game. He's had a game of 8, 6, 7. I mean, he's looking really consistent. If it's weird to say Mark Ingram in a half-point or full-point PPR gets a bump.
Yeah.
Up. That's just bizarre. What's going on over there, Andy?
I like letting people see the visceral fantasy football responses, and I just had Ruben Randall snake for me in our league of record.
Really?
I needed a fantasy flex play this week, and so this is a miniature segment real quick on sleeper opportunities for guys this week. Here are the guys that I was considering for sleepers. Chris Thompson, Washington running back, a lot of snaps over there. Willie Snead, which we can talk about in this game, the Saints. Ruben Randall was a consideration. And somebody went out and spent $6 fab on a Friday morning to take away my player. And they dropped Jordan Cameron to do it.
And I spent $2 to get Willie Snead.
All right, so let's talk about Willie Snead then.
Double snaked.
Well, no, I didn't. That's fine. I had Thompson ahead of Snead.
Okay.
All right, so Willie Snead, and we'll talk Thompson in just a second on the next matchup. What do we think of him? He's a rookie, and he's been catching 73% of his targets, which we kind of knew somebody had to step up in this offense. We thought maybe, is it Brandon Coleman? No, it's not. And I think you could kind of see it on the field. Coleman just didn't look great. And then we thought it was Cooks. We thought Cooks had this great upside. He's not being involved. So is Willie Snead the guy to kind of was that a wise decision by Mike, spending $2 fab on Willie Snead?
Yes, it was absolutely a wise decision to spend $2 on Willie Snead because Willie Snead is the number 2 there. Brandon Cooks is still the number 1 guy. That's who you want the most, even though he's been underperforming. If both of these guys were on waivers, you'd clearly go Cooks. But Willie Snead is earning the trust of Drew Brees. Willie Snead is running great routes and getting open and being found. And when you've got the trust there, after you've lost so many targets in the offseason, everyone was high on Brandon Coleman because someone's got to get the ball, but it looks to be Willie Snead. And that trust, his snap counts have been growing every game. And that's what we try to see at this point in the year for a rookie.
So would you rather start Ted Ginn Jr. or Willie Snead?
Willie Snead.
Even after the 2-touchdown game, and I mean, three straight double-digit games for Ted Ginn Jr.
on bye, so I definitely would not want to start Ted Ginn Jr.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the waiver wire list going, these guys are in
victories.
this de facto.
Okay.
Okay.
Ask me more about starter sit with a waiver with a bye guy.
Genius.
I like being right.
Okay, so let's talk about, are we starting anybody at the tight end position at all in this matchup?
No, you can't trust the Philadelphia tight ends at this point. And the same thing for the Saints tight ends. They're just we saw Hill finally get in the end zone, but none of these guys there's much better options on your waiver wire than these guys.
Yep.
All right, I said this on the radio yesterday. someone asked me, what do I do with DeMarco Murray? Is this do I just roll him out there? And I said, yeah. I said, DeMarco Murray, this is the week. I have him ranked a little bit higher.
Yeah.
I think this is the opportunity.
You and I both have him ranked higher than the consensus.
Let me take a look at that. We have
if you look at the consensus expert ranking, we're both a little higher on him.
So you have no fears of the growing whispers in the winds and the shadows.
I have him at 4 this week.
Wow.
Jason, you do not have him there. You have him at 10.
Yeah, which is still higher than the
Mike,
consensus.
you barely have him in the 2 conversation.
Yeah, man. I'm
do I
just
have
going with what I
concerns? Yeah,
see.
you got concerns, but I do not believe that the solution for that offense, you don't have a situation where they've been out and winning with Ryan Matthews. You have a situation where they've been losing with both of them. And DeMarco's been paid a lot of money. DeMarco is demanding the ball. I think this is the chance he gets. So I'm gonna bank on him having a good game. And they're at home. And this is their chance to get their season turned around. So if I have him, I'm playing him. It sounds like you guys are both playing him, so
Yeah,
we're all on the same book or on the same page with that. And the defenses are both pretty bad. So Washington at Atlanta. Atlanta favored by almost 8 points in this game. Is there any way Washington keeps up? And even if they can't keep up, does that mean we've got garbage points coming to Cousins, to Garcon, to Jamison Crowder?
Yeah.
I think they can keep up, or as in and not keep up in scoring, but
because their defense has been pretty.
Defense has been solid, man. It's been there, and the Falcons have just been taking advantage of matchups. This is a really, really big test for Freeman. Coming up against the Washington right now is second in yards allowed to the running back. We'll see if Freeman is a mirage or not. I think if Freeman has a solid game here, then I will really start to buy in.
Do you think
not
he
just
scores
apologizing,
again?
But brilliant. I think he gets held out of the end zone this week.
Okay. If you had to start a Washington running back, you would emphatically and excitedly start.
Depends on the league type, but if it's PPR, I'm going to start Chris Thompson.
That's just crazy, right?
It's
not crazy, not like you're not crazy, but crazy that we're at the point where
it's crazy that we're at that point. In this game, you have to. I mean, we try to project different things, and one of the things you try to project is the game flow. Atlanta has been just blowing people out of the water, and while I do agree with Mike that Washington's defense is good, and I don't necessarily expect them to just blow them out, they will probably be down. That's they're favored by 7.5.
In Atlanta is a big deal.
And so if they're down and they're needing to pass the ball, we've already seen that Thompson is the guy. He's got plenty of snaps on the field. He can catch the pass, and he looks good. He looks good, with that role. So he is a flex worthy.
You got to remember, Gruden wanted a Geo type guy. He had the Geo type guy when he was in Cincinnati. That's what Thompson is settling into. It's not Matt Jones.
So let's say
hopefully you traded Matt Jones.
Let's say you've got Alfred Morris and Matt Jones in this matchup, and you have to. Everybody is by. You're starting Alfred over Matt
without
Jones.
question.
Mike,
Alfred was almost my start of the week.
I'll lean Alfred Morris just because of it last week of this recency bias, but I don't feel comfortable week to week knowing who it's going to be.
Yeah, trick question. I don't start either. Go on.
Alfred Morris had a okay week last week.
Yes, he did.
17 carries back on, but no touchdowns, and he had 2 catches.
What?
Yeah, 2 for 3.
I missed that.
I know. So did he almost. All right. Let's talk about the wide receivers for both teams. Let's put. Do we like Garcon?
Yes.
Yeah, I like him.
You got to throw the ball a lot. You
All right.
got Jordan Reed out. Garcon is the short pass type of guy that that Cousins is actually going to get the ball to. I like Garcon quite a bit. I'm playing him in one of my.
Now you're in a 3 wide receiver league with a flex, and you got some bye weeks. Do you start Jamison Crowder?
Yeah, I would be willing to for all the reasons we just
now,
stated.
Djax, is he? Do we have him on the list?
Yeah, we
did,
said
right?
I heard from a Washington beat reporter on the way in that there's a slight chance, but all signs point to him missing another week. In Crowder, I believe he had 10 targets last week. I mean, that's the kind of opportunity that you want, and that Washington seems to like Crowder a lot. They're finally getting him involved. Andre Roberts was a healthy scratch. He's been demoted. Crowder has taken his job, so
Yeah, he's in the doghouse.
So let's say you've got Deshaun Jackson on your bench, and news comes out he's in, he's active, he's going to play. Do you play him in this matchup against Atlanta?
whew,
You definitely, if that happens, you definitely don't start Crowder, right?
no, Crowder's still in because
okay,
Crowder
so-
will be the slot receiver. If when Deshaun
Yeah.
Jackson comes back, Crowder will still have a role.
Okay, but do you start Deshaun?
I don't think I do.
Yeah, I would. If he's back, I'd probably flex him.
Yeah, I think he's flex worthy.
Here's a sleeper alert for everybody. This might be a DFS play as well. Derek Carrier. Derek Carrier is the new tight end in Washington. If you don't know what happened with Washington, they lost 2 tight ends in the preseason, and now Jordan Reed is out with a concussion / knee injury. Derek Carrier caught both of his targets last week. This is a situation where Cousins throws to the tight end all the time. And so I think Carrier will have targets and he'll have receptions in this game. I'd look for 4 to 5 catches from the tight end. And if he somehow got in the end zone, he would be,
I would love
extremely sneaky in DFS lineups.
If you're not in a head-to-head, if you're in one of those bigger tournament-style formats, great play.
All right. You guys ready to move on to the Cardinals
Yep.
facing the Lions?
Yeah.
In Detroit, the Lions are the only winless team.
Shouldn't be.
Are they going to start figuring things out here? Because this is we were talking about Matt Stafford. He has faced 4 very difficult pass Ds, and now he's going to face another one.
Well, he's faced 3 of his 4 weeks have been against 3 of the top 4, and now he plays Arizona. So I think he's going to have another bad week. I really do. And you're going to see Matt Stafford on a lot of waivers next week, and he's got a pretty good schedule coming up. So
Yes,
something to watch for is a next week Stafford alert, which is weird because he's normally hot in the beginning of the season and then cools off. But I expect him to be better later, but not this week.
Yeah,
So-
I like Arizona in this game. That we saw the who could have the worst offensive line matchup of Seattle versus Detroit, and it was pretty neck and neck. Which the Lions cannot get a run game going because they cannot get the run game going at all. The passing game has just been non-existent almost. Calvin Johnson looks older.
I think he looks fine.
I think he looks okay, but I don't know. There's some plays missing that I think Calvin Johnson would have made earlier, last year or the year before.
Will
All right.
Patrick Peterson shut Calvin down?
I think it's
yeah, he might.
possible.
It's more of an avoidance thing. Yeah, but Johnson will get a few catches, and I'd look for him in the red zone.
Golden Tate, good.
All right, Theo Reddick was signed by a lot of people on waiver wire. What do we think of Theo Reddick this week?
He's a fine PPR desperation play.
Chris Thompson or Theo Reddick?
Thompson.
All right, Andre Ellington set to come back. Chris Johnson. Would you rather start Chris Johnson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Chris Johnson. Andre Ellington has not had the success running the ball that Chris Johnson has had the first few games.
All right, another DFS sleeper I'm throwing out there, Michael Floyd.
Yeah. He caught all 5 of his targets last week, and Smokey John Brown has been a little disappointing. And Michael
I think he's
Floyd,
been fine. It's just a matter of
For
he's
fantasy-
drawing.
for
Yeah.
fantasy.
No, you're right.
And defenses are going to start more and more targeting on Fitz, and as they do that, they're just going to use Michael Floyd instead. So I like.